A new study by the CDC finds far fewer people are getting their second dose later than expected. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Chiquetto.
And I'm Marcella Lee in for Barbara Lee Edwards. This comes after a lot of anxiety over rescheduled appointments and delayed shipments. News 8's Brandon Lewis is on our vaccine team and looks at how this compares locally.
Now, Carlo and Marcella, we don't want to take away from any of the anxiety people were feeling around getting their second dose, but the CDC found in a nationwide study, more than 95% of people actually got their second dose on time. While the vaccine rollout hasn't been without its speed bumps, the CDC says an overwhelming number of people are getting vaccinated on time. A study of 37 million people found more than 95% got a second dose about 21 or 28 days later. A few were early or late, but within the 42-day time frame, and only a small fraction were beyond that. Medical experts have stressed the importance of advocating for yourself until vaccines are widespread.
Basically, wherever you can get a vaccine, you should go. We have some patients saying, well, I'll wait for scripts. Don't wait for your healthcare organizations. We'll find out tomorrow what we're going to get on Monday or Tuesday. So you might wait for a very long time if you take that route.
Locally, Scripps says almost 98% of its patients are getting or are scheduled to get second doses on time at its sites. Like all providers, they prioritize second doses when shipments ran low after a mandate to stop holding back supplies.
I understand the rationale. You want to get those doses in as fast as you can. On the other hand, now we created some very anxious patients. So that was a better process because we knew exactly what we needed to give and keep handy.
The figure doesn't take into account all users who booked through the MyTurn website, since it didn't always make clear who needed a first or second dose, and people could get them anywhere they wanted. Eventually, the plan is to move away from large vaccination sites into a provider-based model like the flu shot.
Our ask, I think it's the same from all the healthcare organizations, would be give us enough, at least 2 weeks supply, and let us manage this.
The county says they are continuing to work and prioritize second dose appointments as needed. They also say it's not out of the realm of possibility we may have some shortages later on, simply because there may be an imbalance between getting more Pfizer instead of Moderna vaccines, or vice versa, in the weeks ahead. Carlo and Marcella.
The county's encouraged by those vaccination numbers and our daily case rate staying low. 439 new COVID cases are being reported today out of almost 16,000 tests, for a positive rate of about 3%. Our 14-day rolling average is now 2.8%. 8 more deaths were reported. Tomorrow, the U.S. is expected to surpass 100 million COVID-19 vaccine doses administered, far ahead of President Biden's goal of doing so by his 100th day in office. But the nation's top health officials warn now is not the time to relax.
Literally every day that goes by and more people get vaccinated, we can stay ahead of what I would consider a race between our ability to vaccinate people and the emergence of variants.
President Biden is expected to announce his next vaccine goal sometime next week.
Saturday marks 100 days in office for San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria. Today, he joined community leaders in Balboa Park as he discussed the progress that's been made and what's ahead.
In my first 100 days, it's been reinforced to me that there are no quick fixes to problems that have been created over many years. But it has also reminded me that San Diego is capable of rising to the occasion to meet challenges and to solve enormous problems.
Moving forward, the mayor plans to address issues with the city's infrastructure and San Diegans experiencing homelessness. This week marks 1 year since Governor Gavin Newsom announced the stay-at-home order for Californians. The economic fallout has been painful. We have featured a lot of businesses during the pandemic here at News 8, and near the start, we introduce you to one salon owner in Escondido. Tonight, News 8's Teresa Sardina checks in with how she's holding up.
Exactly 1 year ago, the owner of Prestige Nails had to close her doors. Well, she's back in business, but now she's so overwhelmed playing catch up because of the credit card bills and personal loans.
We go into the same school, we take the same exam. The only difference is they do hair, we do nails.
This is Jennifer Daffrin, owner of Prestige Nails, after her salon was closed for 10 weeks at the beginning of the COVID-19 shutdown. 1 year later,
It's not easy for me to shut down the whole thing, So I'm trying my best to keep it open, but it's really difficult. It's not, because you have so many bills you have to worry. And if it's not making what you're making, you're just gonna give up, you're gonna just let it go.
From her once booked salon in a busy shopping center, she remembers March 18th, 2020 like it was yesterday. What Daffrin thought would be a temporary closure turned into months of the unexpected.
We open and we close again and we open again.
Managing outdoor operations in triple-digit heat.
All that time we've been closed, we still have to pay the rent.
And a $7,400 a month in rent.
Every day I open the door, I have to make at least $400.
She couldn't qualify for a business loan for the salon she opened in September of 2019.
It's so little because they base on what you have sales from the year before.
Daffrin tells News 8 she owes thousands of dollars in credit cards and personal loans, money she borrowed to equip the salon to follow the COVID-19 protocols. Since the salon reopened in January, she says it's one worry after another.
The employees are scared of going to work because the coronavirus.
She counts on her clients.
It's very, very important if this economy is ever going to get back on its feet and these people can make a living.
She says she's trying everything to keep her business going 6 days a week. Daffrin says even though business is back open, she's still playing catch up. Business has not been the same. She's encouraging the community to continue supporting local businesses. Reporting in Escondido, Teresa Sardina, News 8.
A Georgia sheriff's captain is off the case after making remarks that critics say sympathize with the man who investigators say admitted he murdered 8 people at 3 Atlanta spas this week. Cherokee County Sheriff's Captain Jay Baker is under fire for describing the rampage as a, quote, really bad day for the shooter.
Without a shred of empathy for the really bad day that the 8 victims and their families had, the incredible grief that the whole community is going through. And this is the kind of thing that makes people question law enforcement.
Baker is also under fire for an anti-Asian Facebook post from last year. He is no longer the spokesman for the case, and the department has apologized for his comments. Today, officials said that nothing was off the table in their investigation into the attacks, including potential hate crime charges.
That shooting took the lives of 8 people, 6 of them Asian American women. And it's drawing new attention to the wave of hate crimes across the country since the start of the pandemic. The issue is now gaining ground in Congress, where lawmakers held a hearing to discuss the growing outrage. Nancy Chen has the latest.
Moment of silence for the victims and the victims' family.
A moment of silence in Atlanta for victims of the attacks that killed 8 people on Tuesday, 6 of them Asian women. While police are investigating the shooter's motives, Asian American leaders say their community is devastated.
The past 2 days have been terrible for our community, but it is not just the last couple of days.
Speaking at a House subcommittee hearing, California Democrat Judy Chu said anti-Asian crime since the start of the pandemic has become a crisis that cannot be ignored.
Many of the victims have been older and vulnerable, like Bishop Ratanapakdi, an 84-year-old Thai man in San Francisco, who was killed in an unprovoked assault. Today, we find that there have been nearly 3,800 anti-Asian hate crimes and incidents in just the year alone.
One study finds the number of anti-Asian hate crimes rose 149% in 16 major U.S. cities in 2020. Actor Daniel Day Kim called on Congress to pass anti-hate legislation.
What happens right now and over the course of the coming months will send a message for generations to come as to whether we matter, whether the country we call home chooses to erase us or include us.
President Biden ordered the White House flag be lowered to half-staff in honor of the Atlanta victims. He'll travel with Vice President Harris to Georgia on Friday to offer support to a community in pain. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Millions of undocumented immigrants living in the United States are one step closer to becoming U.S. citizens. 2 bills were passed in the Democrat-controlled House this evening. One would ease the citizenship pathway for Dreamers. The other would allow farm workers and their families to earn legal status if they continue their employment in agriculture. The bills come as thousands of minors are stuck at the border, which the Homeland Security Secretary says is secure.
Some of these children are as young as 7, 8-year-old girls. And so we do not expel them back into the desert. But we say do not come because it is dangerous.
The two bills now head to the Senate, where Republican opposition is expected.